And if you haven't figured it out already, she is his daughter,
DeWitt, are
Anna.
you ready to
What
be
is this?
born again?
Why are we back here?
This isn't the same place, Booker.
Of course it is. I remember.
Are
Wait,
you ready to leave behind all
You're
that
not-
has gone before? Wipe the slate clean.
Who are
and
you?
start
You
anew.
chose to walk away,
Washed
but in
the
other
blood
oceans,
of the Lamb.
you didn't. You took the
Do you
baptism.
hate your
And you were
sins?
born again as a different man.
Do you
stop.
hate your
It all has to
wickedness?
end, to have never started. Not just in this world, but in all of ours.
Smother him in the crab.
Smother, 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 smother. Before the choice is made. Before you are
And
reborn.
what name shall you take, my son?
He's Zachary Comstock. He's Booker DeWitt.
No. I'm both.
For the record, that's probably one of the creepiest things I've ever seen in my life. So, that was... I forgot what game I was playing. Bioshock Infinite. I don't really have a lot to say here at the end. I usually do have quite a bit to say, as I did with Singularity and Dead Space. Oh, you know my rant about Dead Space. This one I really don't, and if I had to say a game could be perfect, well, okay, let me rephrase. If somebody tells you there's a 100% perfect game out there, they're lying. There is not. But this is the closest you will ever get to perfect. And that's purely speculative on my part, but for me, this game has probably redefined... No, sorry, not redefined. Probably restored my entire faith in video games. I mean, we've had all this crap that's been put out, you know. It's either been rushed, it's not been polished enough, it wasn't taking enough time, you know, to make sure everything worked okay. And yes, this game had its bugs and fair share of glitches, as you saw towards the end there when I was going into that lighthouse. I kind of phased right through Elizabeth, which was a little weird. My eyes kind of went straight through hers, which is a very weird experience. You know, it does have its fair share of glitches, but the gameplay mechanics were polished. It had an amazing story. The story is just amazing, and Bioshock has always been the cornerstone for complicated and, you know, immersive story, and I really love that about these games. And I've already stressed this before, that these games are my top games for story ever. In my top 5, I'm sorry. And I love them. And it's all because they took the time to make sure it was polished and ready to be released before they released it. This game was announced like 4 years ago. Does that tell you anything? You know, and by the way, this is the quartet from the beginning. The Columbia Quartet or whatever it was, if you weren't aware. And it was just, that's another thing. All those little things that they put in. You know, especially at the beginning of the game where there's not a lot going on, they put out all this little stuff for you to go and do, like all the games, the quartet, you know, listening to the people's conversations, the shops you could go in. And I wish games would really do more of this kind of stuff, you know, put in more of the little stuff. It doesn't just have to be a linear, oh, go here, do this, shoot this, blow this up, you know, type of thing. You know, and this game is an action game, it's a first-person shooter, but it still has those elements of exploration and, you know, not just straight up shoot 'em up. Um, anyway, that's what I'm going to leave you with. Probably the best game I've ever played, actually, to be honest. This probably takes the #1 spot for the best game I've ever played, which it takes a lot to get to that point. Um, so, and if it's not if it's not #1, it's right in those top 3 of the best games I've ever played. So, that was Bioshock Infinite. Sorry it took so long to get out. Like I said, I was overcoming some technical difficulties, but we are back in the business now, and I am moving on to a new project. And I will be back with you in just a moment because there is a final cutscene. I'm not going to ruin anything for you. It's just a glimpse, but I will be back with you in just a few moments. One other thing I want to mention before I cut out until the final little piece of cutscene there is that will the circle be unbroken that you're seeing on the screen right there? That was one of the parts when you were in the slums in the game, where you would it was like a secret room in the bar, I think, um, that had like a guitar in it, and that's kind of what I'm talking about with the little things. I wish game producers would put more stuff in there like that, because that probably single-handedly was my favorite part of the game right there. Um, you know, and to add one more additional thing, the visual quality and the graphics quality was also phenomenal. I enjoyed that as well. So anyway, sorry, I tend to do that a lot in the middle of the credits for no reason. You know, just go and um, have other stuff to say after I think I'm done. But I will be back with you for the ending cutscene here.
fine. It's that one line I don't.
Yeah.
Well, he'll figure it out.
That's what I'm saying. Went back home, Lord. My
This is
home was
not
lonesome.
the ending cutscene I was talking about. That'll be in just a moment. This is pretty cool too.
See, but then now it's too short. Now it's one too short.
Yeah,
Because then it goes, what a home. So here, we'll play it one more time. Went back home, Lord. My home was lonesome. All my brothers, sisters cried. What a home so sad and lonely. And then it's missing the next line. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is the second, that's the third, that's the fourth, but then. And I don't think that's supposed to say lonely.
Probably lonely. We're supposed to line.
We'll get the actual.
Nothing else.
Can we run it through this video lyrics? There are loved ones in the glory whose dear forms you often miss. When you close your earthly story, will you join them in their bliss? Will the circle be unbroken by and by, oh, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. In the joyous days of childhood, oft they told of wondrous love, pointed to the dying Savior. Now they
Sorry.
dwell with him
That was my tablet.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by, or by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. You remember songs of heaven which you sang with childish voice. Do you love the hymns they taught you, or are songs of earth your choice? Will the circle be unbroken by and by, or by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. You can picture happy gatherings around the fireside long ago, and you think of tearful partings when they left you here below. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. One by one their seats were empty. One by one they went away. Now the family is parted. Will it be complete one day? That's it. Do you think that this one should be like slowed down a little bit since it's the last verse?
You can do that. Sounds pretty
Otherwise,
cool,
there's
though.
like, well, otherwise there's just like an abrupt ending, right?
All right. Well, so what I want to do. You guys are really, really, really good. What I want to do
Well,
is
Make it what 8 worse.
I want to take the tempo down a little bit if we can, and sort of start by finding like Booker. If you could just be sort of like picking away at the beginning first, and then sort of start to play the song, and maybe then find the tempo together a little bit. I want it to feel. You guys are so excellent and professional.
Yeah, no, it won't be like that.
I want to make it sound like it's not like, you know,
Sure.
Sheryl Crow and
Right.
Eric Clapton in a session. So
He gets Eric Clapton, I get Sheryl Crow.
Who do you want, John?
Rip. Yeah. Joplin.
Ex-Tina?
Britney
CeeLo.
Spears and Seal.
If you weren't aware, those were actually the voice actors for Booker and Elizabeth, which I think is pretty cool that they actually did sing the song from that section of the game. And here's the little ending cutscene. It's actually not a cutscene; it's just a little
Anna?
a little bit more gameplay.
Anna? Is that you?
And the interesting thing about that is we don't know if she's really there or not. That's up for the player to decide or infer about. So anyway, that was Bioshock Infinite, as you can see, and I will see you guys next time.